In universities we have disciplines and the real world has a problems. Problem is to match the disciplines with the problems. Whether we dilute our conceptual thinking, problem is, I think, to remove the conceptual cobwebs. Something may not happen today at this moment, but we should not get it wrong. We should think as a whole and act in a part. That is the job of the learning. And one thing, and that is what I come to learn here in Kerala, how are you keeping your society going the way it is structured today. We talk about the market and state, capitalism and socialism, which is so much in the milieu here, but accumulation of wealth and its negatives are well known, but the accumulation of knowledge and its positives have to be known. And that's why I have here one of the very perceptive thinkers who have opened up in a way continent of social science, has said the level of policy in a democracy cannot rise above the average level of understanding of the population. The question is, when we say knowledge society, scholarships and all that, how do we lead let me repeat it, it's very important, I think it will underscore what I'm trying to convey and may not be able to convey with many things that I was talking about. The level of policy in a democracy cannot rise above the average level of understanding of the population. Average, how do we move up the average? Otherwise literate people may not be resource literate. Indeed, that is the contradiction of our time. The people whom you think they are literate, people yesterday and in large parts of the world, in India when we started after independence, literacy was just 12%. But unlettered people of India were not unwise people. Understand that. And the 72% literate people of India, on the macro, functional literacy we are talking about, they were unlettered, they were not unwise. We are otherwise. Many often I get the sense when I talk to the university community. And so the level of understanding of the population is very important. This is called democratization of knowledge. In a democracy, I'm sorry for this bad voice, in democracy, the distribution of knowledge is as important as the distribution of wealth. Because it is through the pathway of knowledge we will address the issues of equity and sustainability. So, universities have departments and disciplines. In real world has a problem. How do we bring the society, extremely sorry for this, get into the water. This is the climate, which you cannot be sure. Weather on everyday basis. I was for 5 days in a cab on the code on this National Conference on Environment. Weather, now people have to learn to make a difference on weather and climate. That's such a preliminary point. So let me come. Since you have asked me to be here, I am here. But what this dialogue intends. John Maynard Keynes is well known name in economics, in social sciences. His ideas are very much debated. So he said, why I'm speaking, why we have these lectures. A lot of energy and efforts go in organizing them. When a lot of people are poor and missing their lunch, we are having three. And so he says, I want, so to speak, to raise a dust, because it is only out of the controversy that will arise that what I am saying will get understood. And Keynes has said, he reminded us the purpose of economics, purpose of social sciences, purpose of sciences, purpose of education, I would say, for that matter. It never happened in past week. Yes, the purpose of economics is to increase the possibilities of civilization for our grandchildren. And many of us who are here in the category of the age of a grandparents, 7 of our grandchildren who are studying in the universities across the globe, one of them doing now, and I want this picture of audience for him to, you can take it. He's studying law in the Boston, Harvard and Fletcher course. And he asked me, when you go, yesterday I talked at John Mathai Center, he said, what were people thinking about environment? I said, so how many of them know about Greta Thunberg, Occupy movement and all this? How many of them know Noam Chomsky and his work? How many of them would know Stephen Marglin's work? I said, well, I will ask them question and report to you. I owe it to you as a grandfather as to what are your other ones studying architecture. She said, the girl, she said, what is happening to architecture in Kerala? Why are not people building houses on the patterns of Laurie Baker, which my architecture school would say, no, this is idealistic, don't go into all that. But you tell me I go and see the buildings, very fine here. But Mahatma Gandhi University should not be building have all the buildings. Why could not, in this fashion, why couldn't there be a building like a CDS in Kerala, which Laurie Baker built, and I think it functions. So building with the less cement, less steel and less glasses, which are environmentally more benign. 60 years old. And incidentally, I had a great honor of knowing Laurie Baker, because after the great that earthquake in our areas in Latur, you may recall some of our elders, Laurie Baker came. I wanted, being a part of the Maharashtra Planning Board member, I invited Laurie J. and Laurie Baker had come and advised. But there is no money in that. You take the project in which there is a huge money. If it is millions and billions in rupees, no, they want billions and millions in dollars. And now they are talking about the project in trillions. Jitna bada hoga project, larger the project, bigger the pocket. That's the political economy. But I'm at the university and I shouldn't be violating some of the things, though I'm activist. So, what is the basic question are two: human rights and rights of nature. Who is violating which? All humans, 8 billion people in the world. When it was written, in fact 10 years ago, I had been making 20 years ago some of these presentations when the population was 7.5 billion. How much is now? It is 8 billion. So, we have added to the planet in the last 1.5 decades 0.5 billion people. What does prosperity mean in a world of 8 billion people? That's the question. And how much are the resources? what is today and what is tomorrow, that human rights and prosperity are intimately linked. The Universal Declaration remains a vital blueprint for a meaningful prosperity in a new economics fit for purpose is absolutely essential. You have that pointer or something? A new economics fit for purpose is absolutely essential if that promise is to be delivered. It is a very good Robinson as a UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. She was the president I had, a very motivated woman, and she was saying this. So this is our reference point. Next. Overarching issues, whether we are reaching them or not, is a question. So overarching issue of our time, global warming and climate change. I mean, these are, as we say, take first, deal with the given facts and given understanding. And given facts and understanding tells us global warming and climate change are the overarching issues. And what is the root cause of that? Root cause of that is the fossil fuel, which is a menace, is the root cause. I get a cultural shock. That's why I have dissuaded him. Thus I will find my way to university. I mean, this car, atrocious automobile, what is the cost of the car? Cost of the car is the earth. Do we want to have a car at the cost of the earth? I mean, now because with the salaries that we have of the 1%, university assistant lecturer has a salary of first 5% and lecturer has a salary of the first 1% people in India. But what is the purchasing value? We will come to that later. And that is not inconsequential. But people have to have. I mean, build big house, have a big car. Our children are studying abroad and we talk of people's India. I think this is a contradiction. But each one, I mean, I don't want to make a catharsis. These are problems which we have to deal with, both as an individual and society. So, I mean, the people, now India has 1.4 people, and the important, she observed, this is a monthly review. John Bellamy Foster, he is, I think, in Kerala. I was reading as I was taking a morning walk. Dialectics is a part of science. Yes, dialectics is a part of the science. And dialectics and the science has to be liberative. I mean, vertical. In fact, the one organization for which I have great respect in Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad, their very motto, your professor will correct me, was Science for Social Revolution. Prasad, K.P. wrote, Science for Social Revolution. And their magazine, Eureka, Shastra Gati, and all that has educated the whole generation. Silent Valley would not have been stopped. That's what Krishna Iyer has been repeatedly telling me whenever I went to meet him in Cochin, that Silent Valley would not have been stopped by Marxists. They did not stop it. They wanted more electricity through that project. But it is the Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad which succeeded. And what is the Kerala Shastra Parishad? As I take professor, it is a people science movement, a science and community. So science is a societal problem. It is not a technological fix. That's the message. And planet Earth, creation, the world in which civilization developed, the world with climate pattern that we know and stable shoreline is in imminent peril. The startling conclusion is that continued exploitation of all fossil fuels on Earth threatens not only the other millions of species on the planet but also the survival of humanity itself, and the timetable is shorter than we thought. In 1972, when 1962, I will give some 5 basic reading at the end, what changed my perspective, and I would like you to think about it. One of the books was Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, and thereafter how 72, the first environment conference, UNCD 82, 92 Rio conference, 2002 Johannesburg, 2012 Rio plus 20, and we are in 2022 COP 27. I mean, look at the journey. And this is quoted by one of the very die-hard Marxists, John Bellamy Foster, in his book Capitalism and Degrowth and Impossibility Theorem. Kenneth Harrow's work he has posited with the, and incidentally had a great honor of knowing Professor Kenneth Harrow when he came for World Economic Conference. He spent some time with us. And in fact, this reminds me, and let me say this, maybe it is a digression, but you will pardon me for that. You see, when they say this is dialectics, this is equity, all other issues should wait, yes. But Professor, I'm sure many of you heard the name of D.D. Kosambi, the polymath who did the maximum contribution to the critical thinking in India. And D.D. Kosambi, when he reviewed the work by one of the very senior Marxists, Dange, Undivided Communist Party of India, what Kosambi said is a true to the day, and it applies. I have been talking to many Marxist friends here, and I have been pleading with them with the two hands. Kosambi said to Dange, and he closed the review with the advice, Marxism is method to think, it is not substitute for thinking. Yes, we have to deal with that. It is a method to think, it is not substitute for thinking. And now many ecologists, Marx's whole ecology book, what he did, is something which is very interesting. And university disciplines, I had a great honor to meet the pioneer of Panthi Review, Paul Sweezy. And he said, in any university, I don't want to dishearten, but I want to demystify. What is that? Paul Sweezy said, anybody get any PhD from any university in the world, including Harvard, he said. And he said, you can write your PhD thesis on dishwashing at the Harvard University. I mean, this is a trivialization of specialized knowledge. So, I mean, just take a right signal from that. The issues confronting India and the world today. I think from a sort of a pedantic or pedagogical, what should I say, categorization, we can make a common people's categorization of issues and bring a perspective which will help us reconcile with that. Economic disparities. More data will come, and I don't need to give more data to economic student, even environment science student. I'm told you are from the two basic disciplines here. So economic disparity, social discord, cultural and religious conflict, environmental degradation, and ecological destruction. You can reduce it to three: economic disparity, social and religious discord, and ecological and environmental destruction. You would agree with that? These, I mean, if I take as a, if we agree, what is the problematic of the world, then we will know what are the possible solutions or pathway to the solution. We may not be today part of the answer. We are a part of the problem. How we can, I think the whole journey of life is trying, making efforts and being reasonably successful in that, from becoming a part of problem to part of the answer. And young generation, we are, I think, with all, I'm not saying in humility, but it's a point of fact that we have created more problems and we have left our more bills to settle for the young generation. Because all this entropy that we have created, you have to deal with that. And this whole one big disease that we have given you in the name of growth. Next. Next. Don't jump over because I don't. Then you would know the sequence, you can jump over when time is over. The genesis of the crisis. To put it broadly, world has been debating that, and I said Kerala has provided the answer to the problem of overpopulation, but problem of overconsumption. These are not either or issues. Overpopulation, given numbers. I know on a 1% land area of the country, you have 4% or 3% population here, and a density of 900 per square kilometer. These are physical problems, biophysical foundations of growth have to be based on that. Both increases the ecological footprint, both numbers as well consumption. One child in upper income family, in richer country, in temperate country, requires more resources. They do consume more resources, and that's why this grabbing of resources goes on. That's the accumulation. So the problem is not only of the source. Source is, yes, there, but the sink, where do you put all the emissions that you have? Every activity generates, including the agricultural activities, and not that the agriculture is immune to the emissions. And many of the modern agricultural practices are the worst practices. They are the practices where more methane and more CO2 is generated. So, sink, source is as important as the sink. Next. Institution through the ages. After all, you don't start a priori, and not that the history begins where you start or where you would like it to start. How is the institutions of the human society developed? Struggle between rulers, power, and people for controlling natural, human and man-made resources, capital and technology has been going on. Through the ages, main sources of power have been inheritance, feudal system. Kerala is one of the best land reforms. They tried to do something later in Bengal, some parts of the Rayatwari region, that's the agrarian economy. But I made a statement at few conferences, and that's the concern. Why are people still 60% of the land? Are you able to hear me clearly now? No. 60% of the land still is owned, controlled by people who don't toil on the soil. I'm making a very, very factual statement. Whether you got exemption in the name of plantation, I used to argue with my friend Viren, Matrabhumi, Viren Kumar, there's a big plantation, I went to Calcutta and all that. Why is that? I said, the plantations are exempt. Why? So people who, and because of these obscenity, and look here, unless you go to the freedom movement, you will not understand the genesis of many of these things. 1942, the two main slogans were British quit India, and the second slogan, equally emphatic but which was sidestep, was the slogan land to the tiller. The land is a basic resource. 54% of India's national income came from agrarian sector in the 40s, early 50s. And so 60% is the land. And now this, not only agricultural land, and the thing urban landscapes. Look at them, what we are doing. I think which is the most, this is a concrete problem universities should be studying. To each one of your students on behalf of the K. Raj Center, or K. Raj Center is not only one of the centers as earlier I understood, but the K. Raj School of Economics has a task. I had an honor to meet Professor K. Raj, and he will always argue every week as the Vice Chancellor of the Delhi University. He would invite students from one department and have a 2 hours dialogue meeting on dinner with them. I was present in one of the meetings. And when he came to CDS, he wanted that very engendered a dialogue. And Laurie Baker, EMS, Joan Robinson were part of his dialogue. I mean, and in his idea, I was telling to him, in his one of the seminal work, he was a student of Joan Robinson, Maurice Dover, all that. He had this idea of intermediate regime, Michael Kaliski, and Professor Raj has pleaded in that intermediate regime, that it is enough not to know the solution economically and scientifically, but it is important to sell ideas socially and politically. Economic answers are political questions. Today, ecological answers are political questions. So, these are societal problems. There is no technological fix. That would be the message of Professor Ken Raj to us. Through the ages, main purpose, that earlier, just put half a minute, through the ages, main sources of power was, I was saying, inheritance, then colonization, capital, accumulation of capital on the world scale, multilateral financial and trade institutions now. Look at the IMF, the finance capital, IMF, World Bank and WTO. And WTO is the outfit, and the whole names have to be changed. These acronyms are very dangerous, like your disbanded Planning Commission have a Niti Aayog, National Institute for Transforming India. Whom are they transforming? We don't know. What is their India? We don't know. Niti, what is the Niti? All Aniti is a Niti there. And that's why, and all these organizations, like a WTO, what is WTO? Full form? World Terrorist Organization. FAO, that is doing still better work. But if you say FCI, what is FCI doing? Is bringing rice from Punjab and feeding it to the people of Kerala, disincentive to produce rice in Kerala. So for me, FDI taking rice 3,000 kilometers from the fields of Punjab and Haryana and feeding to the people of Kerala is damaging the soils of Punjab and damaging the health of Kerala. Food, FCI is the food corruption of India. So I think we have to leave, you see there are two sides. What is dialectic? Dialectic is the understanding. Other side, appearances, great scientists have said, great scientific minds have said, that if appearances and realities are the same, then you don't need to come here in the university. What are appearances? Appearances and realities, if they are the same, all science is superficial. You don't need any science. But it took Galileo to tell to the world what is the planetary system, whether Earth revolves or Sun revolves. And he has to pay the price for it. There is no free lunch, my friend. There is a price for everything. And the price and value in whole Hicksian thesis we know the difference between the price and value. And not knowing the difference between the price and value is the tragedy of economics. So, subjugation of the weak, that goes on, rule of national. And I think the elite, legislature, executive and judiciary, the part of the state system, how many people will be there like a Krishna in the judiciary today, in the legislature and the executive? This whole highest bureaucracy. I adjust with you, sir, I agree with you, sir, I am also so and so. There are very talented people going to the Indian administrative service. At least there was a lot of middle class who was motivated idea. They wanted to do something for people of India. But where are they? Now, transnational or multinational corporations have overtaken the world. And very simple question, and let us not give illusion to these youngsters. Let us allow them to chart their own path. Multinationals and people cannot live together. 1,000 corporations of the world are destroying the environment. 1,000 corporations in India are destroying the environment. And all this political system, executive, judiciary and legislature, they are a part who are promoting politicians. What is happening to the projects in Kerala, whether K-Rail project or other? I think that is a dangerous territory which I should not enter. Probably he would be in trouble. I would be gone to Aurangabad. So now, what India and the world needs in the 21st century? I think 21st century needs a different economics. It cannot be. We can build on that, but the 19th and 20th century economics, on which Adam Smith and whole classical school built, and then came the new classical thing, and Professor was telling me how that we have to have a dialogue in that paradigm. But that 19th, 20th century economics is not the economics for our time. We need to go beyond state and market, capitalism and socialism. We need to go to community. Community has to be center stage. Eleanor Ostrom thesis, if you take that. And what is the definition? I think if you are agreed on that, the Grohar and Brundtland Commission's definition of sustainability. Are you able to see this? Meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And need and greed. Unless you make what is the need? Is car need? Where do you fit? Middle class will say car is a need because we have to go to malls, we have to take children to the English medium school. We live in a gated community. So it is their need. But is it a need or greed? I mean, you have to, that's why samatha is a word in all Indian languages. But samatha of what and samatha of whom? Just like development of what and development for whom? Sustainability, shashvatva, nirantarta. What's the Malayali word you use for sustainability, Professor? Exact conceptual word?
Sustitam.
Huh?
Sustitam.
Sustitam. I was
Sustitam.
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 Huh? Bra. Susthirta. So it's a stability, sustainability. Shashvatva, nirantarta. And this commission which came in 1982, it was set up. Incidentally, again I would be digressing, but I will repeat it. That when report was released in the Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi, that's the event for all national things in Delhi, Grohar and Brundtland, who was a President Prime Minister of Norway, she was chairing the commission. A very well-known doctor, she was also chairman of the World Health Organization. And when the report was released, I happened to know Grohar and Brundtland. She would stand on the bus stand as a president or prime minister. I don't know what is their designation of the chief of the country, I think, prime minister. She would stand on the bus stand and take bus to her office. I've seen her there. And when she came to Delhi, the report was released. Raju made a speech as a prime minister. There is a future, and this is one of the reading I am going to give you. Our common future. The book is Our Common Future, that will come later, where this definition was given. They had bombarded her, the journalist and all that. Madam, what is most important point? What is that you would like us to convey? She looked at me and she said, Professor, what is that? I said, you have said it unequivocally in your report. Whatever you do, you have to do it before we enter next century. Do it here and now. अभी और यहाँ करना है. This was the message of the report. Since this is globally accepted definition, we go with next. Next. Why the world is becoming more and more unequal and sustainable is the concern. I mean, we have been saying this. And you understand, I mean, that we have to go back to our disciplines and go to the roots, as they say. After whole black movement in United States and the famous book by Gunnar Myrdal, before he wrote the theory of underdeveloped regions, he wrote a book called American Dilemma. Who is looking at the problem depends on what is his station in life. And Adam Smith, before he wrote a theory, he wrote Wealth of Nations. He wrote a very seminal book, which is the basis of that, where he defined many things, the theory of moral sentiment. Go and find out if it is there in your library. Theory of moral sentiment, a very seminal book by Adam Smith, which says what is the moral and ethical basis of society should decide. And then comes the market, then comes the enterprise. But the basis of the society is that all humans are equal. And many of these economists, including Marx and Ricardo, when they talked about the quality of soils and all that, they talked about the sustainability. Why the world is becoming more. The root cause is the dominant growth and governance model adopted by ruling elite of all political views, ranging from feudalism, capitalism, struggle, and all its permutations and combinations, such as the mixed economy in India and elsewhere, is a very parasitic, to put it very terse. The need of the hour is to move beyond the binary, I said it already, capitalism, socialism, state and market. Growth and globalization, we have to add to that. This whole business of growth and globalization is a very dangerous from the environmental, ecological sustainability point of view. Obviously, this calls for critical questioning, inquisitive and inquiring mind, a serious research and open dialogue, leading to empathy and enlightenment. I think that has to be the real debate, besides what we study for our examination and all that. University system, if it has to promote the critical thinking, it has to teach. Next. How much time somebody should regulate the time? Why the world is becoming? आगे चलो. Next. Not moving further. The dominant system of capitalism, socialism, I already said that, is a parasitic and chronic. We are experiencing both the systems. Middle class is becoming as parasitic as the feudal class. Those who have an income of more than 2 lakh rupees or 1 lakh rupees, and most teachers now have, including the school teachers, you will find them, their consumption pattern is such which is not in harmony with the nature. Growth and governance model pursued by successive governments in India is not at all equitable and sustainable. Right. And I will be using the terse language that when I went I think a few months before his death to meet Krishna Iyer to pay my regards, as I went to MP Parmeshwaran yesterday. Krishna Iyer was writing an article which later got published with this title in the Hindu. Justice Krishna Iyer in an article, वो रखिए थोड़ा, that first one. He said, in the Hindu few years ago, had referred to this state of our politics as a democracy drug, debauched and depraved. I don't think I need to say anything more about it. Democracy drug, debauched and depraved. Next. Need for a vote. This brings us why we need to understand our society much more seriously and succinctly. Robert Frost said, education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. Nowadays my problem is that many people invite, they are so kind to you, they make all arrangements, beautiful guest house, food, all that, And then people say that, oh, we are sensitive on this, you don't avoid this, no political position. Yes, but yes, you need not talk about rabble rousing in the classes and the seminars. But why are you, Krishna here again once has used a very a term for intellectual which is not even worth quoting in the class. He said we are called comfort girls of the establishment. In one of the observations he said. So what are we as an intellectual? What are we as a community? University community is an important question. It is not to make. University teachers, Cardinal Newman said, university teaches man to see things as they are, to go right to the point, to disentangle a skein of thought, to detect what is sophistically and to discard what is irrelevant. I think much of the microeconomics that we are learning today, I think that doesn't give us either a theoretical framework or conceptual, so to say, conceptual understanding and operationally. So in terms of both concept and execution, this is inadequate. I mean, we have to move beyond this economics, and I will come to that how ecological economics is possible pathway towards. Further, he says the role of universities is to preserve. I think this is very important. The role of the universities is to preserve, create and disseminate knowledge. Preserving knowledge is very important. Why care? Now you have a university in every 2-3 districts. I have this dictionary directly here of the state government, many of people are not so. It's a worth doing analysis and research on. You have about 10 universities, state universities or university level institutions, more than 1,000 aided colleges and several institutions. In Kottayam itself you have an institution which is supposed to study climate. How many of you know this? In Kottayam there is one institute. This is known as the Institute for Climate Change Studies. How many of you are familiar with that? If you are not familiar, that means their presence is not meaningful. I mean, we know many things. We know where is a good theatre, where is a good food, where is a good, what is a good match going on. Why can't we know an institute on which they will be spending 10 crore or 20 crores a year? And it was with a purpose. I mean, United Nations, World Bank, they gave advice, they gave some money to study the climate. They have the committee. There is a principal secretary in charge of this institute because what was happening was not very comfortable there. I was in Kozhikode, there is a Land and Water Institute. There are hundreds of institutes. Whom these institutes are meant for? किसके लिए बनाए हैं ये संस्थाएं? For a people or establishment? I think this is increasing the middle class, expanding the middle class. What Kendra called intermediate class. That will work on behalf of them. Because I think Modi would like Pinyari to rule Kerala on behalf of them, as Indira Gandhi wanted to rule Indira Gandhi wanted Jyoti Basu to rule Bengal on behalf of her party. In Delhi she wanted to be comfortable. So she said, well, you rule the Bengal. Now you rule the Kerala. I'm saying that what is happening to the people and land and people of Kerala should be the subject of our study and not what the politicians of all hues are doing. I'm in sympathy with the people's movement, but not only in sympathy, we need to support them, but the problem is that how do we critically understand and analyze is our job at the university. So, the role of university is to preserve, create and disseminate knowledge. How many of you, this could be one of the PhD projects, the jackfruits in Kerala. It's a wonderful, nutritious fruit. It's not planted, very organized plantation, it grows. It was a gift of nature, it is being seeded through natural process. And but there is a person who is doing some work on it, and It is very nutritious. It can provide you food, nutrition, fiber. It goes as a good manuring to the soil. But why not? Same thing about many of the crops in Kerala and many of the paddy varieties in Kerala. Oh, now they told me, I said, Kerala bananas used to be very delicious. They said, अभी यहाँ नहीं होता है, वो बाहर से आता है. I go and I talk to the, canteen in Thrissur, railway canteen, or go to there in Kozhikode in the morning. So many Bengali boys talking in Bengali. They are coming here to do the literature. Yes, they will come. They should. India belongs to everyone. But what is happening? Why are people, and people here want to go to the culture? What kind of migration pattern it is? What kind of entropy it sets? अभी आप कोचिन में एक इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट है, वहाँ बना देंगे. You will need in 10 international airports because one shipload of people will go to Gulf, another shipload to Canada and come back. And they will build these atrocious houses which is a obituary to lorry factory. उनको दफन कर देंगे. I mean, what is happening? I went years ago to the University of Minnesota and literally, this was 1991. And yes, a shipload of Japanese will come. They will market, airplanes, not the jahaz, not the water ship, airplane. And they will do marketing and return to the Japan. This is, and somebody, I talked to the university professor, I said, this is mauling of minds. Mauling of minds. All our minds are in malls. Mauling of minds. University should not be a mauling of minds. I think that is my great concern. So preserve the knowledge that you have. Create the knowledge that you put and disseminate it. I think every university professor, consciously I am not writing much in English now. If you want to talk to the people, there are 100 million people in my state who know my language, Marathi. So I write in Marathi. Is it not enough to write for 100 million people? 10 crore people in Maharashtra or 35 million people in Kerala in Malayali language. And you have so many papers, diverse papers, so many people. You have good tradition of Malayali literature. So there should be compulsion in the university that everyone, his or her subject, writes one paper every, one popular article every month, or write one good academic paper every year in local language. Why is that not respectable academics, I am asking you? Why not? Why not? How will debate go to the society if we don't write good books in our own languages? You need both languages to understand and write the book, but that is not my point. My point is preserve the knowledge, create the knowledge and disseminate the knowledge. Without that, the whole talk of economics is just a good classroom. Read for the police. Again, I will continue. The role of knowledge. Start before university, the sentiments of truth, and I think the self-explanatory, society and civilization, how it is, modern education, what it has to do. Next, role of knowledge, reason and intellect. This will remain a basic preoccupation of an industry. And that, it is not upadesha or preaching, and reason and intellect. And hacking at the trees will not, the branches of the trees will not do. We have to just strike at the root cause analysis. In fact, now advantage of our time, unlike our student days, is that there so much things are available on your button. I'm saying we are talking about planet and people. Tell me what is the life of the planet Earth? What is the life of the planet Earth? What is the age of the planet Earth? You don't have to look at me. You can Google your thing. Google Baba ko pucho. And you will get the answer, 4.6 billion years. This Earth of 4.6 billion years, the whole evolution with all Charles Darwin, half the Americans don't believe that evolution is incidental. They don't believe. So you can understand why there would be a Trumpian politics in America. And stupidly, why? I mean, half the people, if they don't believe there is a diya hua hai, they don't believe in evolution. That is the recent survey. So if the Earth is 4.6 billion years,
Global warming.
huh?
They deny global warming.
They deny global warming. They are using it for. And you know what Socrates said, what Galileo did, what Charles Darwin did, but it is inconsequent. You don't. I think a person who need not be even the municipal council member or the panchayat member becomes the president of America. And our chap goes there and he says, "Aapki baar, kiska sarkar?" Naam bhi lena galat. Our prime minister had no business. He goes and dances with this guy and he says, "Aapke baar, America mein Trump sarkar." What a stupidity! And this this brings Gresham's law in education, in universities. Gresham's law in economics, you know, is when there are bad coins or counterfeit dominates the main currency, legal tender. Everybody thinks counter is the genuine. That is the thing. So we are caught in a trap. Next. The state of India today, on this background of what I have been trying to explain, and I was telling you about the beauty of the global reports that are published now. And the first global report writing was ventured by the two great Asians, two people from South Asia, the great minds, Amartya Sen and Mahbubul Haq. They started this human development report. And the first human development report in 1996, 96-97, has a beautiful description of what is the character of growth, what is the content of growth today. And they have used the 5 words, maybe you would like to write them. I will tell them slowly. And read my First of all, growth is not development. Much of the growth is anti-development. You don't have what you need and you don't need what you have, is the character of growth today. And the 5 words that they have used, which are very much there. First, character of growth, jobless, which you are experiencing. Why these Kerala boys are escaping and going, boys and girls also now. Jobless. Another is rootless. You go and become somebody, you go to some university, you become Gita, what is that lady, Gopinath? Gita Gopinath. And I don't know how much economics she knows, I am not sure, but she becomes the advisor to your chief minister. Because he is at the IMF. So it is a rootless, it is a meaningless. I mean, all these buffoons that are sitting in the international institutions, what kind of, it's a rootless. They don't have any roots. They talk anything in international court. I have seen thoroughly idiot people are now today occupying the international. It's a strong word, but there has to be some meaning to the word. That's why I say, as Keene said, I am speaking to provoke. Didactics is one of the job of education. Provoking people to think, asking people to think and analyze, of course. So, second is the rootless. Third is the ruthless. I think some films, I think about the Gopal Krishna or Satyajit Ray, and all these people, I think they are doing really a job of mass education. Wonderful generations they have. The mind, critical mind they are promoting. What are you doing? I think, what is that film? Three Idiots gives more education than the university. Slumdog Millionaire gives you more education. Satyajit Ray, Pathar Panchali told us more about the rural economy and rural life than many of them. And now many create or that Cha, who that Kennedy Center 6 minutes, who hai na, 2 Indias. I think this is much more powerful than my data on, but we have to go by this data. So human development index for third was jobless, rootless, toothless. Third is voiceless. Because people poor in the suffering ones are left. So bottom half of India, not why bottom half, 3/4 of India is absolutely living under the condition, under the subhuman condition. पशु का जीवन जी रहे हैं. 75% people, 72% people after 75% years of independence are leading subhuman existence. 1 billion people in India do not have the basic, maybe percentage is less in Kerala, but there are people who are suffering joblessness, toothlessness, and they have no voice, voiceless. And because it is a jobless, it is a rootless, toothless, voiceless, it is a futureless. And how long we will keep on pursuing, ये हमारी दुकान कब तक चलाएगा? How long we will run this shop of ours in this manner? I think this दुकान has to change. इसका सामान बदलना होगा. We have to change the grocery in the shop. So, India, which is the third largest economy in purchasing power, now we come to, people will be comfortable with this kind of economics. Third largest economy in purchasing power, parity terms, is anyway the fifth in the GDP term, we have overtaken England. Now has these problems, where we rank in human development, we 131st in so many countries, gone below, now again receded. Global hunger index, we were 94th in 107, now they have 121 countries and we are at which place in global hunger index? That's more recent data. How, at which rank we are in the global hunger index? Can any youngster tell me? You must be reading. Of course you are not here, from the hungry people. 114 in 120 countries. It was then 144 among 153 in happiness, 120th in the global water quality index. And I went to the Water Institute in Kozhikode and they were saying the Kerala, which has such a beautiful tradition of boiling water, using, is also very necessary, your kashayams and all that. But water quality is very bad. It's alkaline, saline, arsenic, etc. And in the water, in the world, 179th among 180 in the year quality. I think why I get a cultural shock. You go in the university guest houses or the room of the professor, room of Sir AC, they immediately do it. In Mumbai, they use 40% electricity for running days. What kind of society it is that? I mean, in Himachal Pradesh you didn't need fan. In many of the Kerala towns you didn't need. But what is happening to them? What are we doing? What kind of solution? And is AC a solution to any of India's weather problems? मुझे बताइए क्या? मुझे अभी तो first thing I told him after entering the guest house, अरे बाबा इस बाजे को बंद करो. उठो. Why this? Yes, a computer room because of the temperature requires AC. So one ICU ward would give it. But if you bring every person to the level of ICU lung power, then you don't need this society. What happened to the whole beautiful health system that you have had in Kerala? So I think it's very pathetic, and most diseases are either waterborne or airborne. And the long and short of the story is that air we breathe, water we drink, and food we eat is all polluted and poison. I don't want to make it more dark than what already it is. Tejas George, who wrote recently, some of his writings, is a very senior journalist from Kerala. He has worked in many international newspapers also. He wrote, I think, he must be the same person, I guess. He wrote a Krishna Menon autobiography. Krishna Menon's biography. And he said with all his, he was austere, he would not even pay for his missed residence in the High Commissioner's office when he was High Commissioner in India. But one problem with that, he found more fools in the world than there actually are. I'm not trying to do something of that, I know. I mean, you cannot paint a darker picture, but these are stark realities. These are facts, hard facts, which has to go into our head to think where we are. Next. 5 to 7 minutes, 1 minute is okay? Okay, I will wrap up. Poverty and inequality, I don't have to give numbers. I will tell you. To India, I think this is very, we are building, I said to you earlier already I explained, feed for India. That means 105 crore people. Certainly billion plus people. Maybe that you may have 10% of that, of your population in Kerala, but we are living a life of deprivation, and this is, we are living in a globalized world too, but we don't have to aid the world in the Western. Yesterday MP Parmeshwaran was saying, if energy is a key, Desarda, I and you, we have been talking of two people who thought of the basic energy sources and pathways. One is Gandhi and another is Schumacher. Yes, Schumacher. He was the chair of the coal board in England, and he took all his ideas. You can Google it and you find Small is a Beautiful, Schumacher. That book is famous. But he has another book on energy, which is very, very interesting. And there is a Schumacher college. And a very famous economist, Amit Bhaduri, poignantly asked us, is this development or developmentalism? Moment you say, but yes, all my friends in government in Kerala, including Ramchandran, whom I met to meet, is a nice friend of over the years. Madhura, his wife Swaminathan's daughter. I know Madhura, she does a very good work on food economy. Madhura. But when I said, look at the big Galatian officer sitting, he said, but we need development for people. And which people do we need development for? Is top 10% people like you and me who sit in these offices? Or people? What is your definition of people? And then what Amit Bhaduri said, is this development or development terrorism? I mean, आपको विकास नहीं चाहिए. Moment you say, no, you are talking about this thing, you don't need development. I do need a transport, but I don't need a car. You can have a better transport system than these rickshaws that are flying, but I don't need a car. And he told me that the car had gone, they have performed their duty, my train was late, so here's this. These are the systems that we build. Systems are meant for humans. Humans, we do it otherwise. Next. Again. Are you able to move? Next only. Widening the inequality of wealth and income. One of the recent reports, I think, of Spam and others, has said 98 billionaires in India, certainly include the two A's, Ambani and Adani, and they are dollar billionaires because rupee has no value. Their wealth is more than that of 550 million people put together. These 98 people in India have more wealth than 55 crore people in India. And after COVID, 12 crore people lost their jobs or suffered reduction in their wages and income. According to, I think, MGM University's report, the number of individuals who live below the national minimum of rupees 375 rupees per day. Can you get a square meal in Kerala for 375 rupees a day? The number of individuals who live below the national average. This is also suggested in many states. It is below that. It is certainly more in Kerala, 700 something. But recommended per day by Anup Satpathy Committee of Government of India. Increased by 230 million. Increased by 230 million. Stark inequality. Next. So we are talking of two things which we change system. Next. Growth, GDP and distribution. It has been now said by many economists, including Amartya Singh, Joseph Stiglitz, and I think Kirkowski, our French president, had appointed a commission, and they had come with a report which said Anil Kohli has taken the position GDP does not measure our life currently. GDP does not measure our life correctly. Hence the obsession with the growth and growth mania is the root cause of climate change. It is the grave that threats to the security of the planet and people. So I think this report is something which is very important to understand. I think 3 or 4 slides. There are some but we run through. I think you were talking, and this makes me think that this is very important what you said in our discussion. Ecological economics is primarily concerned about the biophysical foundation of the world. Economy is a subsystem of the ecosystem. Nature, man is a part of the nature. Relationship between man, nature and society is a rupture beyond a point of reconciliation. Interdependence of man and nature via society, man, nature and society, that relationship, and ecological economics is concerned about the biophysical foundation of the world. Man who did the really great pioneering, path-breaking work is Harman Devi, who expired recently. I don't know how many of you know the name of Harman Devi. She was the advisor, the first advisor for the World Bank on environment. She resigned and his address is beautifully titled 6 Parting Kicks to the World Bank. His address is titled 6 Parting Kicks to the World Bank. And he talked why World Bank cannot talk because they don't, of course the work preceded Richard Carson's and the entropy law, entropy and economics law, the famous work of the Polish economist. Ecological economics connects resource environment by recognizing the real world connection between depletion and pollution via because there is nothing, these are the throughput growth. And the two concepts of the economic, we need to revisit and critically analyze and discard them. Externality and sustainability. Substitutability. If all forest is gone, what is that you are substituting to making your clause efficient? Similarly, externality of what and who. I have a car. I protect myself. But there is a great externality of that. And so long as externality and substitutability, and the very unfortunate part is the Robert Solow, who said the time has come when we don't need, the world can go in effect without the natural resources, and he gets the Nobel Prize. The man who said the world can go without the natural resources can substitute. I think it's a tragedy of economic commons, economics common. Ecological economics is about what we want and what we have to give up to get it. We are not going to get anything without really sacrificing something to get it. About what we want and what we have to give up to get it. Notably, ecological economics always ask if extra growth is worth the extra sacrifice. Trade-off is no. This whole automobile industry in India is something anathema. It's a socially, it's a social, it's a dissipation of the whole ideas of ethics and ecology. It's personalized model of transportation. And of that kind, all automobile industries in India, of the world, all automobile industries in India have now market in Asia and go predominantly in India. Why they are here? Thus ecological economics takes a more influential activist position. If you say this is activist position, if they don't want, you can say you are ecological economics. Yeah. Alternate work. वो पहले alternate work आया? Well, yes, you can go next. Cost and consequences of the नहीं वो एक मिनट को पहले cost unbridled growth, debt to security and all that. Now I will stop for a minute, mount, silence. You can see these 10 slides which are about environmental destruction and damage that has happened in the last 1.5 decades. Yes, you can run through them. I will take a little pause. Next 10 slide or 8 slide. Stop. Catastrophic changes in climate. This will begin here and go backwards. Other the recent things you know. Next, Maharashtra State. Next. Oh, that period. 2005. Eastern Indian storm. Then come to 2005. They are picked up at random, but they are represented. Mumbai. Then next. Tsunami. Next. Sundarban. Gujarat. From Gujarat to Kerala, the story is the same. Diagnosed but failed to treat. We have all understood its causality, but we are not stopping the scene. And deniably the historic responsibility. We know. People say per capita India, because the rich of India want to hide behind the poor of India. That is the tragedy. They say, please, my friend, lecture is going on here, please do talk there. We are not talking something casual here. We say 1.8. I will run. Okay. Thank you for this. Diagnose perspective. Again, next. Adverse impact of India on India. Next. Dominance of economics and politics of gigantic. Well taken. Next. A new pathway is needed. Gandhi called it the pathway of Sarvodaya, well-being of all, and Antodaya. I think this unites Marx and Gandhi, brings them on the same wavelength. Next. Yes. I think what I said will be mistaken that we are making a blind opposition to growth. No, it doesn't mean blind opposition to growth, but opposition to blind growth. Not blind opposition to growth, but opposition to blind growth. Next. GMOs and all that. Yes, I think we are coming to it. I think you need a value. No society can be without value. And elders have felt to give values to them. We have lived with a double standard. We have compromised. I think those of us who, I take my own example. We are part of the problem. But those of us who were going through 60s and are traveling now, our income gave us the longevity. My father died in the 60s, I am in 70s, born in 80s. So I think we need ecological value, and ecological and ethical values are very basis of society. Reverence for nature. Nature is not commodity. Commoditification of nature is respect for all forms of life. I think this is absolutely essential. Silent Spring of Rachel Carson is a book. She has offered it to Albert Schweitzer. He said, man who has lost touch with value. Social responsibility brought to gender equality, non-violent approach. Next. Again. Next. Concern for quality of life, standard of life, living and quality of life are two different. Again. Global Green Movement, Marx and Gandhi marching with something there. This includes, because Germany has a proportional representation and Green Party is a part of coalition. And Baerbock, who was in India, she talked about, and Petrocelli was the building light of that. Next. These are amendment decentralized. Again. Next. Is this a democracy or demagogy? You decide. Next. Just human rights. Next. Is free right. The right of earth to remain. Just next. And come to just run over. I told you also. Indication about the harm. Last conclusion. Yes, indication of the harm and not the proof of harm is possible. Why urban employment guarantee is needed? Next, come the state without my voice. Ensuring basic RTI, Mandega, urban employment guarantee. Again, next, my proposal about urban employment, widening the employment guarantee, both rural and urban. Next, measure to mobilize resources, because I think minimum corporate tax, or India has one of the lowest corporate tax GDP ratio. It has to at least go from present 15 between 15 and 17 to 20 to 25. Then we have more resources. Next, come, and appeal, each one of us there. Then next. Think globally, act locally, respond positively. Next. The last question. I think we have, yes, this is true, but respond personally is something very important. Each one of them, be the change you want to bring. And the 5 books I was referring to, I will give the list instead of taking your time. And now, feel free to criticize, comment, shoot at whatever speed you can. Thank you so much. I know it was a rambling, but